ايوه، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. This is Mr. معتز السيد. Okay. Uh, Good morning, student. Okay, today we'll talk about the lesson 3, heterotrophic nutritions. Okay. First, we'll talk about the importance of digestion. Okay. As we know that heterotroph obtain its food as its already made organic compound. Okay, these compounds are complex. Okay, consist of large molecules like the proteins or the starch or fat. They can't pass through the cell membrane of the living organism, and these large molecules have to be broken down into molecules of a smaller size. Okay, and simpler structure amino acids like glucose with fatty acid with glycerol. And these molecules are small and soluble in water. They can easily be absorbed by the cell, either by diffusion or by active transport. Cells will then use this simple compound as a source of energy or in a growth of new tissue. First, what's the meaning by digestion? Digestion means it's a conversion of large food molecules, which is called polymers, into smaller one, which is called monomers, by means of hydrolysis. Okay. Hydrolysis, it means the composition of polymers converted into monomers. Okay. We need also in this process enzymes. What's it mean by enzyme? Okay, we have studied before enzyme. Enzyme is protein substance that has the properties of catalyst. Okay, it has ability to activate a particular chemical reaction. Okay, the enzyme used to speed up the chemical reaction without any change in its structure. What are properties of enzyme? Enzymes are specific in their action, and the reaction which is catalyzed by certain enzyme depend on number one, structure of reacting molecules and the nature. We'll talk about the structure of molecules and the nature of the enzyme. Okay. Enzyme work in or react with substrate as reacting substance. Therefore, it's formed intermediate compound, and after the enzyme end its work by formation the product, it will separate to form its action again. Okay. Digestion in man. Human digestive system built up of long tube, okay, extending from the mouth to the anus. It's called alimentary canal. It comprises, I'll begin with the mouth, pharynx, esophagus, stomach, the small intestine, large intestine, and the ending with the anus. Okay, as we know that digestive system, okay, it begin or consists of mouth, okay, pharynx, we have also salivary gland, esophagus, liver, we have a stomach, we have gallbladder, duodenum, the pancreas, small intestine, large intestine, rectum, and the end with anus opening. Digestion number one inside the mouth. Okay, البكال digestion. The human digestive system begin with the mouth opening. The mouth contains what? Number one, the teeth. Teeth in the one jaw, in the upper and the lower jaw, okay, are differentiated into what are types of teeth. We have four incisors. It's in front of the jaw, and it's a function to cutting food into small pieces. Also, we have two canines, one of each side of its of the incisor to tear food. Also, we have four premolars, two at each side to crush and grinding food. We have also six molars, three at each side to crush and grinding food. We have also the tongue. Okay, a tongue acts as taste organ. Okay, tongue mix food with saliva. The function of tongue mix food with saliva, or we can say manipulates food. Uh, what are saliva? Saliva is secreted from three pairs of salivary glands, which open in the mouth cavity through ducts that pour saliva over food. Saliva contains mucus, which is soft to food and lubricates it to facilitate its swallowing. The saliva contain important enzyme amylase, okay? Amylase enzyme which act in a weak alkaline medium, okay? pH maybe 8 or 9. The amylase enzyme catalyze or work on the hydrolysis of starch and they change into maltose disaccharide, okay? After that, we'll talk about the pharynx. The pharynx exists at the back of the mouth. It's a common passage for both food and the air. The two tubes extend downward from the pharynx, the esophagus, which lead to the stomach, with trachea, which is a part of respiratory system. What's the meaning by swallowing process? Okay, it's reflex action because food is pushed from the mouth to the esophagus and the top of trachea together with the larynx are elevated by the action of epiglottis. Okay, epiglottis close the opening of trachea during swallowing food. Okay, uh, the esophagus. Esophagus, it's a long tube, okay, maybe reach to 25 centimeter, which extend from the pharynx downward through the neck and into the chest cavity. It's parallel to the vertebral column. The esophagus lined with glands secreting mucus, okay, to mix the food. The food is carried through the esophagus to stomach by this action is called peristalsis. This process is called peristalsis. Peristalsis is a series of rhythmical muscular contraction and relaxation. Okay, this movement is important to allow swallowing of food or allow food to pass down the stomach. Say, responsible for pushing the food forward, churning it, mixing it with digestive juices, and the absorption of the digested food. We can see in the photo, okay, we can see in the photo the structure of esophagus to see the action of peristalsis, okay. The food here is called bolus, food bolus, okay, which push into inside the esophagus. We can see for three stages, 1, 2, 3, how the esophagus work by series of contraction and relaxation to push food inside the toward the stomach, okay. Digestion inside the stomach. The stomach is muscular sac which lie in the abdominal cavity. It's joined to the lower part of the esophagus by cardiac sphincter. Okay, it's a circular muscle called cardiac sphincter. The stomach is joined to the small intestine by also pyloric sphincter. Okay, it's a circular smooth muscle. What are materials which digested inside the stomach? Okay, it's protein. Protein are only food substances that are affected by gastric juice. Okay, the juice inside the stomach is called gastric. Okay, the gastric juice consists of acidic liquid which contain water. Okay, the water percent as 90% of water also contain hydrochloric acid. Hydrochloric acid to make acidic medium will pH from 1.5 to 2.5. Hydrochloric acid, it's a very important. What's the function of hydrochloric acid? Number one, it stops the action of thiolin enzyme. Also kill bacteria, harmful bacteria which may pass with the food. Okay, also it's activate el pepsinogen, the enzyme inside the stomach. It's called pepsinogen, but in active form. So it's activated into pepsin. The pepsin enzyme is secreted in inactive form pepsinogen, okay, and activated by HCl into active pepsin, okay. So HCl acid is used to activate pepsinogen into pepsin, okay. We can say that pepsinogen or pepsin secreted in active form to prevent the digestion of a stomach wall, okay, because stomach wall is protein. Digestion of protein. البيبسين catalyzes the hydrolysis of protein by making or breaking البيبتايد, okay, peptide bond between البروتين, okay, to form what? To form polypeptide. We know that protein consists of polypeptide. So البروتين in presence of water inside the stomach by the help of HCl and the pepsin converted into polypeptides, okay. You can see in front of you the photo of stomach, okay, and you can see it's a muscular sac, okay, surrounded by two sphincter, cardiac sphincter between esophagus, stomach, and a biliac sphincter between the small intestine and the stomach, okay. The food is called, after that, it's called the chems, okay. Muscular contraction of the stomach wall help in churning and the mixing up food with the gastric juice. Also, the large capacity of the stomach help to act as a reservoir to store food for long enough to be digested, maybe 2 hours to 3 hours, okay. The food need from 3 hours to be digested. And the end of gastric digestion, the food becomes a heavy semi-fluid which is called chems, okay. Why does the gastric juice not affect the inner epithelial lining of the stomach? Yes, it's important questions. Number one, due to presence of copious mucus secretion, protect the inner epithelial lining of the stomach against the effect of digestive enzyme. Number two, pepsinogen. Pepsinogen secreted in active form which be activated only when it mixed with the acid in the cavity of the stomach away from its wall. Okay, also we have intestinal digestion, okay, or digestion inside the small intestine. What happening after the food, the chems pass from the stomach to intestine. In the small intestine, it's very long, okay, maybe reach to 8 meter. It's about 3.5 centimeter in diameter at its beginning. It's and also 1.25 centimeter at its end. Coils and loops of the small intestine connected together by membranous structure which is called mesenteric membrane. The small intestine differentiated to two parts, the duodenum and ileum, okay, duodenum and ileum. Inside the small intestine there are juices which is secreted over the food. Number one, biles. What are biles? Biles is secreted from the liver. Okay, so we can say that the liver secreted bile over food. The bile work on fats. We can say it's emulsification fats. What's the meaning by emulsification? It means divide large masses of fat into fatty globules. And this helps to facilitate, accelerate enzymatic action on fats that are insoluble in water. Yes, we can know that the fat, it's lipid, and the lipids doesn't dissolve in water, okay? So it needed to be cutting into small pieces. This process is called emulsification. After that, the pancreatic juice. The pancreas have an important role in digestion because the pancreatic juice secreted from pancreas over food. The pancreatic juice, what are the components? Number one, sodium bicarbonate, which neutralizes HCl, okay, and return again to medium alkaline. Pancreatic amylase, which catalyzes the hydrolysis of a starch. The pancreatic amylase catalyzes the hydrolysis of a starch and glycogen into disaccharide, which is called maltose. Also, we have trypsinogen enzyme. The trypsinogen, it's an active enzyme that's activated when reached to the duodenum by the action of coenzyme called enterokinase. Enterokinase activate trypsinogen and convert it into trypsin. Okay, secreted from the lining of the small intestine into active trypsin. A trypsin which has an effect of protein and it catalyzes the hydrolysis of protein into polypeptide. Also we have a lipase which work in أو make hydrolysis of fat which in converted into fatty acid and glycerol. يبقى lipase convert the fats pieces into fatty acid and glycerol. So pancreas have an important role in digestion by secreting pancreatic juice. Okay, so we can make a summary for the steps of the carbohydrates, the protein. Again, we can say that carbohydrates, okay, we have also in the ileum, okay, we have sucrose, okay, maltose, and lactose, okay. Sucrose digested by sucrase enzyme, okay, to convert it into glucose or fructose. And maltose also, it's converted by maltase enzyme to glucose. And lactose, it's converted by lactase enzyme to glucose and galactose. The protein also change into polypeptide. Number one, pepsin in the stomach and trypsin inside the pancreatic juice. Okay, the polypeptide also converted into amino acid by peptidase enzyme in ileum. Okay, lipids also by bile juice, it's converted into emulsification fat, and due to the action of lipase enzyme, it's converted to fatty acid and glycerol. Okay, this is a summary of the digestion process inside the stomach and small intestine. After that, after the digestion ends, a second process completed, its absorption of food. What's the meaning by absorption of food? It's a transfer of digested food substances to blood. Okay, transfer of digested food substance to the blood and the lymph through epithelial cell, which lining the ileum of the small intestine. What are the structure of the wall of small intestine? The inner epithelial lining of the ileum suite its function as it has enormous surface area for absorption of nutrients, which may reach to 10 meter, approximately 5 times as the whole surface area of the human body, due to folds or convolutions, okay, which is called villi, okay, to increase the surface area for absorption. Okay, increase the surface area for absorption. Absorption of food. Absorption of food is transfer of digested food. Absorption of food is the transfer of digested food substance to blood and the lymph through epithelial cell, which lining the ileum of small intestine. What are the structure of the villi? If you see the photo of structure of villi, okay, it consists of the outer layer. It's epithelial layer, okay. The wall of villus is covered by epithelial layer. Also, it has a lacteal vessel, okay, which end by lymphatic vessels. Also, it has artery and vein to provide ease with oxygen and the food, okay. What are the routes of absorption? We have two routes for absorption of digested substance through the villi. Number one, blood route and the lymphatic route. The blood route, it starts with the blood capillaries inside the villus, where the blood carries the water والmineral salt والmonosaccharide like the glucose. The amino acids, soluble vitamins, this substance carried to the hepatic portal vein. The hepatic portal vein, which branched inside the liver to the liver, send out the liver through hepatic vein to be emptied into the inferior vena cava and then return to heart. The second route is called a lymphatic route. For fatty acid and glycerol which pass to lacteals with dissolved vitamins A and D and K, some of these fatty acid and glycerol may recombine to form fats again in epithelial cells of the villi. Some of the final emulsification fat absorbed by being engulfed by epithelial cell. All fat pass through the lacteal inside the villi then to the lymphatic system which carries them slowly to the superior vena cava and also return to the heart. After that, we'll talk about metabolism. What's the meaning by metabolism? Metabolism, it includes process in which the body gets benefited from the absorbed digested food substance. The metabolism contain two processes as we have studied before in senior one, the anabolism and the catabolism. Anabolism, it means making polymer from monomers, okay? Protein consists of amino acid, carbohydrate consists of glucose, okay? Glycogen also consists of glucose, starch consists of glucose. El catabolism, it means decomposed glucose to release energy, okay? Especially sugar to produce energy which is needed for the body, okay? After that, we'll talk the last thing about the large intestine and what's the role of large intestine. Large intestine get rid of undigested food. Undigested food pass from the small intestine to large intestine. But there is water, maybe contain water and some salts which are beneath to the body, so they are absorbed, okay, from the lining of large intestine that has manifold and convolution, helping in that. So the undigested become in the form of semi-fluid, they decay to the presence of some species of bacteria, and the waste remain are expelled as feces, so the anus by means of strong muscular contraction and rectum, okay, which below inside the anus. Strong muscular contraction combined with relaxation of two muscles of the anal sphincter and two sides of the anus, the large intestine secrete mucus that facilitates the passage of the wastes out. Okay, thank you, my student. Okay, we'll meet again in the second lesson. Okay, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.